Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're working with something a little different. We have a whole collection of personal conversational notes.
That's right. And we're diving into what happens when people try for that fresh start in January. These are all firsthand accounts, stories from friends and family about their funny and sometimes embarrassing mishaps right at the start of the year.
Yeah, and these stories cover everything. We've got high-stress work situations, study sessions, even social gatherings that just went completely off the rails.
And our mission really is to look past the embarrassment, to analyze the human psychology behind it all.
What do these little failures of organization, of focus, what do they really teach us about the pressure we put on ourselves?
We're looking for the pattern. Under the punchline. Because when you look at these stories together, you realize the errors happen precisely when people are trying their hardest, trying to be better or cleaner or more attentive.
So this is for anyone who has ever started the year with, let's say, very high hopes. This deep dive is for you. Okay, let's unpack this. We should probably start where most of us feel the pressure first. The workplace. We have this story about a man named Paul. He's dealing with that classic January mandate for immediate planning.
Right. His boss, Mr. Henderson, is demanding a big plan for the whole year. And he wants everything.
Numbers, dates, and names. I mean, that is a brutal way to start the year.
And the key context here is that Paul admits, he says he's a little disorganized sometimes. So you have this external pressure from his boss mixing with his own internal desire to, improve.
It's a perfect storm.
It is.
So Paul decides to tackle this by creating a physical symbol of renewal, a clean desk.
And he buys that classic tool of organization.
The big new trash can, which, as we'll see, basically becomes the villain of his Monday morning.
The enthusiasm of organizational shopping. It so often comes right before a disaster.
He was so in the zone, happily throwing away old papers, goodbye old report, goodbye old notes.
That feeling of creating order.
Exactly. And this is where, in his zeal, he just completely misses his colleague Tom's lunch. It was in a simple brown paper bag.
A very normal-looking thing.
But he mistakes it for trash. And he puts Tom's sandwich right in the big new trash can.
This is a textbook example of what's called goal displacement.
Okay, explain that.
Well, his real goal was efficient workplace management, right? But he substituted that with the process, the act of throwing things away. His focus shifted so completely to just, cleaning, that he became blind to the actual objects.
So he wasn't disorganized when he made the mistake?
No, not at all. He was experiencing a kind of hyper-focus, but on the wrong objective.
That's such a crucial distinction. It's not a failure of messiness. It's a failure of being, too organized.
Right. And his drive for that clean desk created immediate chaos. He had to stop, apologize, buy Tom a new lunch.
It's fascinating how the brain does that under pressure. It just prioritizes the process. If he'd just been walking by, he'd have seen a lunch bag.
But his brain was in trash disposal mode. So the bag was just categorized as to be discarded.
It's a powerful lesson. When you start a new routine, you have to pause. You have to apply some critical judgment, or you make these really simple mechanical errors.
And it really sets the tone for the whole month. You have to watch out for the blind spots that your own good intentions create.
Okay, so if Paul's problem was a kind of tunnel vision on the process,
then let's talk about Emily, who had tunnel vision on a single, beautiful detail.
Right. She's in a photography class, and that's a discipline that demands incredible focus, sometimes at the expense of, everything else.
And she has this teacher, Mr. Black, who is described as very serious.
And someone who never smiles.
So that just adds another layer of pressure, right? The pressure to perform perfectly.
The stage is definitely set. They're in the park taking pictures of trees, a pretty standard subject, but then an anomaly.
A very beautiful bird on a fountain.
And Emily sees her chance for the perfect picture. That's the classic trap. It demands all of your attention right now.
So she starts walking toward it, looking through her camera, just totally focused on framing that shot.
Slowly, the notes say.
This is what we call cognitive narrowing or perceptual narrowing. When your mind is so intensely focused on one thing, the view through the lens, it actively suppresses your peripheral awareness.
Your brain literally stops listening to your feet.
Exactly. It just doesn't prioritize that information.
And the result of not looking at her feet is, of course, splash.
Right into the fountain.
The cost of that tunnel vision is immediate. She's very wet, the bird is gone, but the camera, thank goodness, was okay.
But it's the walk back to the car that's so memorable, that sound of her shoes, the squish, squish, squish with every single step.
That sound is the sound of intense focus meeting a very human failure.
It is. And then there's the social cost. The teacher, Mr. Black.
The serious, unsmiling teacher.
He just looked at her. But Emily believes, she is certain, that he wanted to laugh.
And I think that's the best part of the whole story. It just strips away all the severity. Even the authority figure sees the universal comedy in it.
It's a moment of shared vulnerability. And for you, the listener, it's a simple lesson. If you're trying to master a skill, you have to actively schedule moments to just pull back, check your surroundings.
Because that desire for perfection can literally trip you up.
Okay, so let's shift from that intense personal focus to social dynamics.
Right, because even when we're just trying to relax and have fun, a lack of awareness can completely derail things.
And we've got two brilliant examples where the intended fun just, well, it turned into unplanned comedy.
First up is Emily's brother, David. He's visiting, and the notes say he's so funny.
They're at a big Italian restaurant, a classic setting for a nice, relaxing evening.
But David has a new hobby.
Magic tricks.
He sees the waiter coming and decides, this is my moment. He wants to show him a coin trick. Now you see it, now you don't.
So he does the standard flourish. He tries to throw the coin in the air.
And it lands right in the waiter suit.
This is just a total failure of what you might call social meta-awareness.
Meaning?
He was so wrapped up in his performance, in his showmanship, that he completely failed to read the room. The waiter is working. He's carrying hot soup. His focus is on his job, not on, some impromptu entertainment.
Luckily, the waiter was great about it. He was surprised, but very nice.
He brought a new soup, but the message was clear.
No more magic tricks in my restaurant. The whole evening was just interrupted because one person's hobby took over the whole social situation.
And that leads perfectly into our second story. Paul, Sarah, and Tom going to the cinema to see a comedy.
They've done everything right. They have the tickets, the popcorn, the huge sodas. They are ready for fun.
They sit down, lights go down, and the movie starts. And it is quiet.
Very quiet. For 20 minutes, it's just a man looking at books in a library.
Silently. It's this amazing slow burn realization. Tom finally figures it out. They're in the wrong room. They're watching a very long documentary about history.
And why? They think they were just talking too much in the lobby and walked into the first open door without checking the number.
Right. So Sarah, who hates history, was annoyed. But here's the lesson that connects both of these stories. The social plan failed. One from an external distraction, the coin, and one from an internal distraction, their conversation.
They missed the comedy, but they decided to get ice cream instead, and they concluded that spending time together was the important part.
And the irony is the failure itself makes for a much better story.
Oh, for sure.
Nobody would remember a standard comedy, but they will always remember those 20 minutes of the Silent Library documentary. These mishaps, they become these emotional markers that turn a routine night out into a unique, shared memory.
Okay, for our final segment, let's focus on pressure, specifically the high stakes of formal events and trying to achieve appearance goals in January.
Which is always complicated by, holiday recovery.
We're back with Paul. He's getting ready for his friend Mark's wedding in February. It's very formal. Suit and tie required.
So the pressure is both social and physical.
And he immediately hits that universal January wall. He tries on his old suit and it's too tight. His exact words were, he can't breathe.
Because, as he says, he ate too many cookies in December.
That one sentence just sums up the whole psychological journey from holiday indulgence to New Year's reckoning.
It really does. So he goes to a suit shop, finds this elegant dark blue suit, and he has this moment in the changing room. He feels confident and he thinks, wow, I look like a movie star.
Of course, that little moment of hubris right before the fall.
He tries to walk, and from the back of the trousers, he hears that one sound you never want to hear.
Rip.
The ultimate public humiliation, even if he's the only one there. He has to whisper to the salesman for help. But the best moment of the story is the salesman's reaction.
Right. He was so understanding. He just said, don't worry, sir. This happens many times in January.
And that one line just validates everything. It tells Paul, and it tells us, that this personal setback is actually a completely shared, predictable thing. It's tied to the season.
So Paul bought the bigger size, and he set a new, very realistic goal. Not eating any more cookies until February.
And we see that same pressure cooker effect with Emily's friend Maria. She's helping with the wedding flowers. She's very stressed.
They're at the florist looking at these beautiful white roses, and Maria, who is very, very afraid of spiders, spots a tiny one on a flower.
Now, under normal circumstances, this is a minor issue. But under the stress of wedding planning, this tiny trigger causes a massive reaction.
She screams, runs around the shop, and hits a big vase of water.
And water goes everywhere.
The florist just left. But Maria was so overwhelmed by her phobia and the pressure that she went and sat in the car. Emily had to finish the flower plan by herself.
So if you put these two stories together, you see Paul and Maria both have these dramatic physical failures. They're triggered by tiny things. Paul's body literally failed the suit's pressure test.
And Maria's anxiety made her emotionally fall apart over a tiny spider.
In both cases, the high stakes of the wedding just amplified a small problem into a huge theatrical catastrophe.
So we've taken quite a journey here. Through Paul's trash can incident, Emily falling into the fountain,
A coin in the soup, the wrong documentary.
and finally, the ripped suit and the spider scream.
And when you group them all together like this, they really teach you to categorize your own mistakes. Were you lacking situational awareness, like Emily? Too focused on one detail?
Or did you have that process rigidity, like Paul, where the act of doing something became more important than the goal itself?
But they all point to the same truth. These failures are what connect us. The serious teacher wanted to laugh.
The salesman normalized the whole embarrassing situation. The friends had more fun with the failed plan than they would have with the real one.
The ability to laugh at ourselves is the critical thing here. The sources say it outright. Life is not perfect, but it is fun. You don't remember the goal. You remember the squish, squish, squish of wet shoes or the sound of fabric ripping.
These setbacks are what turn these fleeting moments into real, durable, human stories.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the wonderfully chaotic nature of human error.
It is deeply comforting to know that while we're all trying for a perfect start to the year, we are all collectively having the same tiny, beautiful failures.
Absolutely. And it leaves you with a final thought. As you set your own goals and plans this year, whether it's learning something new or getting organized or going to a big event, ask yourself this.
What small, embarrassing setback or misstep are you preparing yourself to laugh about later?
Because if you're really trying, if you're pushing yourself and engaging with the world, a funny story about a ripped suit or a misplaced lunch is almost guaranteed.
That's a great thought to end on, and we would love to hear your own January mishaps. Until next time, keep laughing at the necessary chaos of getting things wrong.
See you next time.